Good morning, everybody. This is Justice Moran. Can you all see and hear me?
Hi, good morning, Justice Moran. How are you?
Very well, thank you, Mr. Whitehead. A little bit disappointed to see your case management proposals, pre-trial checklist, which we shall talk about shortly.
Yeah.
And Ms. Hashmi, I'm sorry, forgive me. You are counsel for the defendants, are you, in this matter? Very well. Well, it's not quite 9 o'clock yet, but I just want to check that everybody who should be present is present. Mr. Whitehead, do you have everybody present who should be present on your side?
We do, Your Honour, yes.
Very well. And Ms. Hashmi, do you have everybody present on your side? Your microphone is off. Yes. It's off again.
Can you hear me now?
I can hear you now perfectly. Thank you very much indeed.
Good morning, my lord. Actually, I'm so sorry. I apologize for that.
Don't worry at all. We're now all in contact. Just confirm, if you will, please, that everybody that you need to have present at this hearing is present with you by virtual means.
Yes, my lord.
Good, good. Well, Mr. Whitehead, this is most unsatisfactory, the position that you have conveyed to the court in circumstances where, as you know, the court is under a very strict duty to avoid any adjournment of a fixed trial date. And I'm far from satisfied as to why it is that you leave it so late to inform the court that you have not even yet, instructed an expert witness, having regard to the directions that have been made hitherto. Perhaps you'd like to explain that before we proceed and decide how to deal with this.
Yes, my lord. So the issue we've had, and just for the defendant's benefit as well, we filed an application on Friday, and the issue we faced, which is set out in the witness statement, which was filed on Friday and served, I believe, today, is in respect of the experts and the ability to actually secure an expert. There's been,
just pause there, Mr. Whitehead. You filed an application on Friday. I have not seen that application. I'm just going to go to the case management system to see if it's there. Yes. Let me have a look at that. Right. So essentially what you're telling me is in this sixth witness statement, there is the explanation that I've just asked you for.
Correct.
Let me read it then. How long is it? Six pages. Let me have a look at it. Can you summarize it in a sentence or two? What is the problem? What has been the problem?
So look, we've contacted 24 experts over a period. 24. Correct. Yeah. And it's all. I mean, it is all listed in the statement. But we contacted an expert originally 4 weeks prior to the submission of the expert report. So in the order, there was the expert report date when it was due, and we did contact an expert, HKA, on the 19th of April, which again was 4 weeks prior to the original submission date. Now, there were various issues in terms of our client's budget to instruct an expert, and also our client's ability our client wasn't in the country. Some of the experts weren't available, and our client wasn't in the country. So we had to go and contact other experts which were in our client's budget and were more satisfactory. And we've gone through significant efforts and a significant cost to do so, and we've now eventually been in a situation where there's 2 experts, I believe, which are actually able to provide a report. Yeah.
Well, I've seen that there are now 2 experts, and I'm just scrolling through to your summary.
Yeah.
Just give me a second while I read that.
Yeah.
So just looking at the case management order, which was issued as long ago as the 6th of December, experts' reports were to be filed within 4 weeks of the close of witness evidence. Witness statements were to be exchanged by the 22nd of April. And what day did you say you contacted your first expert?
So the first expert was contacted on the 19th of April, 2024.
Right.
Yeah, and that was HKA. So what happened, Your Honour? We contacted the experts who we would normally use in construction cases, arbitration cases, and who we've got, obviously, we know that they can do a good job. Now, the issue we faced, and like you said, it's in the summary of my statement, is the claimant has relatively modest means the budget we were eventually given and allocated was such that it wasn't in line with those experts. So that's why the team here had to contact 24 different types of experts in order to try and find an expert who would be satisfactory for this case.
Well, Mr. Whitehead, your client's means or lack of them cannot dictate the management of litigation before the DIFC courts. You know that the overriding objective applies in these courts. You know it well. And you also know the effect of the rules, that there should be every possible effort to ensure that trials are not adjourned. But as things stand, you've left the court with no alternative but to adjourn this trial. Not so much because of the inability of obtaining expert evidence, but because of the inability of the claimant to pay for it at the price that a good number, I'll put it that way. I don't know how many of them actually declined or you refused to employ on the basis that they could not be afforded. But the bottom line is that this trial is being adjourned because your client was not willing to pay what the experts, or most of them, were seeking as their fees for this work. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's correct.
Well, I thank you for your frankness. Sometimes one does not get frankness from advocates, and that was a frank answer. It's very, very unsatisfactory, but obviously I have to do justice, notwithstanding the strictures of the rules, that I should try and avoid adjournments of trials effectively at all costs. Ms. Hashmi, what do you have to say about all of this?
I'm in your Lord's hands, my Lord, because whatever my Lord thinks appropriate. So,
yes,
and
well,
Clement's attitude, Your Honor, from the very first day, not cooperative. I requested several times, even my client, she changed the advocate due to some unavoidable circumstances, Your Honor. So I requested Clements, just give me at least 2 weeks time, and he was not even. I phoned even. I said, see, this is like we are professional colleagues, So let's cooperate each other. So he refused even give her 2 weeks time to file a response, Your Honor. So now
well.
at 11th hour, Your Honor, he even don't bother to inform me what the next date. All of a sudden, after court hours in Friday in the night, I received email that he's filed application for retrospective adjournment, retrospective filing the expert report before the court, extension of time. So
I can understand your frustration, Ms. Hashmi. It is entirely justified, and I do think, Mr. Whitehead, the court ought to have been notified of these impending difficulties at a much earlier date. But we are where we are. I do have obviously the prime obligation to do justice between the parties. You made reference as well to a revised case management order, I think, Mr. Whitehead. Have you filed that, or is that something that you have just shared with Ms. Hashmi?
No, I think that's been filed as well. It was filed at the time when I believe we filed the pre-trial checklist. Is it?
Right.
Yeah. Yeah,
Well,
it was filed as an electronic file cover sheet.
Right. Well, I have an application for or a draft order which was filed. Let me just see when the application notice was. Just give me a second.
Yeah.
Well, it was issued today, actually, the application notice to file and serve an expert report in respect of the valuation of the shares. And then the order, the draft order, also filed today, is for retrospective position. And then the claimant be granted until 4 p.m. on a date in July to serve and to file and serve an expert report in respect of the valuation of the shares. Each party shall bear its own costs. The parties shall have liberty to apply.
Yeah.
What about a replacement procedural order for all of the steps up to trial? Because we're going to have to go back to a progress monitoring date, a pre-trial review, trial bundles, reading list, etc., etc. Have you done that yet?
It's just not yet. We've just filed these amended dates.
Right.
So we've just amended the dates and yes.
For the what? For the amended expert report.
Yeah.
For the expert report.
Yeah. Sorry. We filed the case management order, and in Word and put in red the suggested amended dates.
Right. Well, that hasn't made its way to the case management system yet. I don't have that.
Would it help if I shared my screen? Or
yes,
I think it. Yeah. Because
yes,
I think Delvin has put. If I share my screen, hopefully, can everybody see that?
Yes, I can see that now. So let me just expand it a little so I can read the dates.
Yeah.
So 28th of July is your paragraph 10 date. And have you had confirmation? Have you now appointed an expert?
So we had an email this morning from an expert to say they would take 14 days from the date they're instructed.
Right. So presumably, if I adjourn the trial, which seems inevitable, then you are going to instruct them instantly.
Yes.
And you've given a few days leeway for that date of the 28th of July.
Yes.
And you've given the defendants then a little bit difficult to read. It's the 23rd of July. Sorry. It's
I think in paragraph 10, it's we put it at Friday, the 26th of July. I don't know if you can see my screen.
Yeah, I can. I've just enlarged it all. It's
okay. Yeah.
It's very. I'm working on multiple screens, and the particular place I'm in at the moment, the screens are a little smaller than perhaps is optimal. But I see now 26th of July.
Yes.
First date, and then the next date is the 23rd of August.
Yes.
I'll ask Ms. Hashmi for her comments as we go through on these dates. Ms. Hashmi, I regret to say that I really have no alternative here but to adjourn this trial to the dates that are now being proposed, subject to your availability, and it will be at your convenience. in the circumstances which have arisen.
Your Honor, as far as I'm much comfortable, all these dates except trial date, Your Honor. Trial 10th October and November, I'm fully occupied, Your Honor.
Right. So I'll come to that then. So I'm very grateful to you both. You are being both frank this morning, despite the difficulties. So the bottom line is, Ms. Hashmi, you accept all of these proposed dates apart from the new trial date.
Your Honor.
And you're not available on that date. When are you available close in time to the 10th of October? For the estimate seems to have foreshortened somewhat. It was 3 days, but am I right in thinking that you both think the trial can be conducted in 2 days now? What is the position on that?
Yes, Your Honor. I think we can do that. I think we've certainly tried to put a trial timetable in for 2 days rather than 3.
Ms. Hashmi, what is your position on that?
I agree, Your Honor. 2 days enough, yeah.
Right, good. So which days would you propose for the hearing, Ms. Hashmi? And then I'll give Mr. Whitehead a chance to...
Your Honor, except October and November, Your Honor, any month.
October and November, the whole of October. You're not available the whole
Your
of
Honor,
October?
because I have already booked my diary, Your Honor.
And are you committed with other cases for the whole of October and November?
Your Honor, I have to visit to India as well, Your Honor. So...
Right. Well, I'm not saying I'm going to agree to this, but Mr. Whitehead, are you available early in December?
Yes, Your Honor, yeah.
You are?
Yeah.
Right.
But this will be virtual as well, is that correct? The hearing will be...
Yes, yeah. It will be a virtual hearing.
Yeah.
I'm just looking at my own diary, so give me a second, please. I'm trying to find 2 days to get the hearing listed in a very heavy schedule. I think since all the other dates are agreed, what I propose to do is to hold this amended case management order and come back to you with a date when the trial will be fixed administratively through the registry. I'll be quite candid with you. I have a very substantial trial in November and a very substantial trial in January. And what I would hope to do is to get this case heard and the judgment out before Christmas, but that may not be possible. So I would like to revert with that date, the trial date, in the course of the next 2 or 3 days. You will simply receive an order. Are there any dates in December, Mr. Whitehead, Ms. Hashmi, when you are not available? I'm talking about ordinary working dates. Monday.
Any date, December, any date, Your Honor.
Mr. Whitehead?
Yeah, just obviously the standard public holidays, Christmas Day, Christmas Eve.
Don't worry.
Yeah.
It won't be good. It won't be going anywhere close to Christmas. My endeavour is going to be to bring this trial on early in December.
Yeah.
Because this delay is most unfortunate, and I'm going to do my best to ensure that it is minimised. That includes, as I've explained to you, getting the judgment out, though that may not be possible before Christmas.
Yeah.
So
Your
what
Honour,
I will do.
Yeah, I was just going to say, just to help you, Honour, I just would like, I'm sure you've considered this, but there's also the National Day in the UAE, the weekend early in December.
Thank you for reminding me of that. So that going to my diary again.
So I think that's on the 2nd and the 3rd of December, I believe.
2nd and 3rd of December, right?
Yeah.
Well, don't worry. If I tried to fix it that date, the registry would certainly tell me they wouldn't be having that.
Yeah.
Very well. Well, I think that's probably the way to proceed, and the court will come back to you when I have liaised with them. I think you're probably aware that I have another role as well as an arbitrator, so I have to arrange my commitments in both jurisdictions, as it were.
Yeah.
Right. Well, on that basis, unless there's anything else that either of you wish to raise with me, I will tell you that I will make an order as requested, with the trial date to be fixed as early in December as I can fix it, and basically proceed from there. Do you have anything else to say, Ms. Hashmi, on that basis before
Your Honour, subject to impose cost, Your Honour, claimant must pay cost.
The cost of this adjournment, that's what you're asking for. Yes, Mr. Whitehead? Mr. Whitehead, what do you say to that?
I think, Your Honour, we are still honouring the deadlines and the commitments which the parties have to adhere to. So in terms of cost, I don't think that the parties have been significantly prejudiced or in any way in other than from a time perspective. So I think the work which is required from both the parties still needs to be done, albeit that the dates are slightly more spread out now. So in terms of cost, I don't really see how that would factor in. Certainly, we wouldn't be claiming the costs of this application from the defendant, because obviously it's so if that would give the defendant some satisfaction to not, for obviously we wouldn't seek to claim that that cost. But in terms of the other dates and mandates, they're obviously mandated by the court anyway. So yeah.
Very well.
Your Honour, DIC court.
Yes, you may reply to that, and then I'll make my decision.
Your Honour, DIC courts, Your Honour, time to time there is a plethora of judgments, Your Honour, it's cited where whenever claimant seeks any sort of retrospective adjournment or extension of time, so claimant is liable to pay cost.
Very well.
I will cite even a CFI 0572021. Khali Salim.
So, Your Honour, if I could just quickly respond to that, I would remind Mr. Hashmi that the defendant did also make an application which was eventually granted by the court in respect of providing an amended defence, which again, at the CMC hearing in December, before I believe Justice Nasser al-Nasser, that he was pretty adamant that we stick to quite a rigid timetable. So I think both parties in this litigation have made applications which have been considered by the court, and I think that that's the only. I think you'll be aware of that already, but I just wanted to make sure that's clear.
Very well. Well, I've heard from you both.
May I respond to this?
Well, we've had application, response, reply, response, and reply again. So I think I've heard enough.
It could have been done by the consent order, Your Honor. This claimant, he was not even cooperative at all.
I'm sorry.
So that's why, Your Honor, constrained to pass order and grant the.
Sorry, I didn't hear what you said then. Could you repeat it slowly?
Your Honor, this amendment in defense could have been carried out through the consent order, but claimant refused to give the consent. That's why, Your Honor, I just approached my lord, and my lord granted amendment in defense, Your Honor. Quite order dated.
And what was the order for costs in relation to that?
That time, no cost.
I believe it was there was costs in the case. I believe we'll check that now.
Yeah, costs in the case.
Cost in the case.
Yeah, costs in the case. Yeah.
Right. Very well. But you're seeking each party shall bear its own costs, not costs in the case, Mr. Whitehead, in your draft order.
Yeah. That's what we've put forward.
And in the amended case management order, the form of the order for costs is costs of the case management conference shall be costs in the case. Yes. So this of course is a pre-trial review. So I would need to really, what in effect has happened is the matter is listed for a pre-trial review today, but very belatedly, the claimant has brought an application to amend the case management order and to have leave to file and serve an expert report by that date in July, which is now in the case management, the draft amended case management order, the 26th of July. So that's where we are, is it not? That's the position.
Correct. Yeah.
Right. Yes. Well, you can stop sharing the screen now. I'm not sure who's in control of that, whether it's Ms. Kwale in Dubai or you. There we go. I have you both back now. Full picture. Thank you.
Yeah.
Well, my order will be that the claimant shall pay the costs of this application. Otherwise, the costs of the pre-trial review shall be in the case. That is my order. Very well. And it seems to me that is all we need to deal with today. I will fix the date administratively. It will be included in the order. What will actually be an amended case management order, and I will include, I don't think it's necessary to make a separate order on the application to file the expert's report by the date in July, because that will already be included in the amended case management order. Do you have any views to the contrary, Mr. Whitehead, since it's your application?
No, I think that makes sense. Yeah. If you would assist, Your Honor, I can we can send via email this Word version.
Yes,
if that would help.
Yeah. Yes, please do. Please send that Word version, just leaving blank, putting in the costs order that I've just made, which you will have noted, putting in the costs order at paragraph 23, and leaving the trial date blank. And the registry will insert the trial date when I have consulted with the registry and looked in more detail at my diaries to fit this in. Right, well, this is most unfortunate, but sometimes these things do unavoidably happen. I'll tell you candidly, were it not for the fact that you've told me of the difficulty, 24 experts approached. There must be very gainfully occupied experts in and around the UAE if you had those sorts of difficulties.
Well, I think it's more the cost, Your Honour. If we're being brutally candid and frank, it's not availability; it's more cost.
Anyway,
sorry,
you've got an expert now, and the trial is back on the rails for a date to be fixed.
Yeah, and we would just like to we are appreciative for this and say thank you to the defendant as well, because we appreciate the timetable have been set, and we will make note of the lateness of the hour in future correspondence and conduct.
Well, very well, Mr. Whitehead. Perhaps you'll be a little more reciprocally courteous to Miss Hashmi,
yes,
if she finds she needs a little more time to do anything. Yes. I expect you to show the same sort of indulgence that she has shown to you with great courtesy in relation to this matter.
Certainly.
So
thank you, Ms. Hashmi.
I thank you both for your attendance this morning, and as I said earlier, for your frankness.
Are you obliged, Your Honour?
And I will look forward to seeing you sometime in December.
Good. Your Honour, I have been handling so many cases over here, and colleagues, they are very cooperative, Your Honour. And first time I had experience with this Shamsi. First time.
All right, very well.
Whole career, first time I just faced this difficulty. Otherwise, I'm handling so many cases, and we are very cooperative. Whenever we request each other, we are very cooperative.
If I can just say one point on that, Ms. Hashmi, I understand the frustration, but you have to appreciate you were coming on as new lawyers to this. We were dealing with previous lawyers on this, which was so it's aimed at you in any way whatsoever. Or your firm, it's more the conduct of the litigation prior to that. Does that make sense? I just want that to be clear as well. So
right. I'll leave you to have your hopefully constructive conversations going forward with this case, and so that we can proceed with it in December. I'll say good day to you both. Thank you very much indeed.
Thank you so much, Your Honour. I'm so happy.
Bye now.
Bye-bye.